everyone, my name is Allison King and you're on my channel, and today we're going to be doing the social media book tag. So I think the first social media is Twitter, which is what is the shortest book you've read that you love, and I chose The Giver by Lois Lowry. I know this may look huge because it's like a bind up of all of these books, all the quartet, the Giver quartet as it says in here. I love this edition though. I got rid of all my other copies of it because look how beautiful it is. Like the pages are red and it's striking and it just looks like, okay, I don't know if any of you other people are obsessed with this, but the Barnes & Noble editions of like classics that are just, you just want to buy all of them because they're so pretty. This is one of those. It's not a Barnes & Noble edition, but it like looks like one of those. We got it at Target on a vacation. I saw it and I was like, oh, we need to buy this. And I really enjoy it. I mean, if you were not forced to read this, which I for some reason didn't think I would enjoy it, but I did in like the 5th grade, then you really should pick it up. And don't watch the movie and then read it. Read it because the movie is now, because then I will seriously judge you. I think Facebook is our next book, and it's a book that everyone pressures you to read. This. I love fantasy. Oh, sorry, I didn't say book title. Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. And since I love fantasy, I always get, why don't you read vampire books, or why don't you read blah 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 blah, but it's always vampires. Maybe I don't like guys who sparkle in wind or something. I know this is a girl. And I have heard endlessly upon endlessly about Rochelle Mead's writing and how it's so good, and if you haven't read it, you're missing out, and literally everyone talks about Vampire Academy in this series. So I read the first Vampire Academy book, and I was actually surprised. I liked it. I really did. But then the Bloodlines series has been so hyped up, and it's so much better, and Adrian's so much better. Just stupid romance novel covers, as you can tell. But I think I'm going to give this a chance. I mean, it's a book that everyone pressures you to read, but I haven't read it yet because the TBR is so huge. But I was just looking at it because as a fantasy person, you're always recommended. Like, I didn't read The Mortal Instruments for a long, long time, and then everyone convinced me to. Let us see what our next social media is. It's Tumblr, a book you read before in school. This is actually my first edition of Divergent. I literally have 4 copies of it, but I read Divergent the day it came out. And you heard me right. I am the biggest hipster fan for this series, because I remember flipping out because I read it the day it came out and no one else was talking about this book, and I couldn't find anything anywhere, and I was obsessed, and I had to wait a year for Insurgent, and then I had to wait a whole other year for Allegiant. And I mean, Divergent doesn't really have a cliffhanger to say, but it's definitely not over, and that was a really hard wait. And then reading Insurgent, and then having to wait, that was very difficult. And I'm so proud of this book. This may sound weird, but I feel like a proud mother because how far it came from the first day that I read it, that no one ever heard of the book. It was just a new release. I think it was Veronica Ross' debut. And to turn around, and now I have posters of it all over my room. I have a Tobias action figure. These Barbie dolls are literally Triss and 4. And just amazing that there's websites, there's people have created accounts for the characters, there's all different kinds of stuff now that when I was just I wonder how many years it's been. I don't remember. I mean, I'm a mega fan of this book series, but I remember sitting and reading it and just wanting to show the world what this book was and what it's about, which I think is a real thing about BookTube and is a real thing about books, that something is so moving to you and so entertaining that you just want to, every single person you meet, you just want to always like re-divergent. And I think over the years, like, I've got almost my entire school to read it because it is just so good, and it's affected me so much in my everyday life and the way I view the world that I wanted it to happen to other people. Which, as you can see, this copy is like falling apart because I let people borrow this because I was so determined. I usually don't let people borrow my books, but I was so determined for the world to read Divergent. And the world is finally noticed. Let us see what other social media. Tumblr, oh, I already did Tumblr. Myspace, a book that you liked when you were younger, but you probably wouldn't now. I could not find one for this. So, I found an old Supergirl comic book that's like $10. I mean, I've kind of got out of the graphic novel comic book group, so I don't know, I might enjoy this, but I really doubt with all the books that I have to read now that I will get to it. So this is MySpace. I was never really into MySpace. I mean, I probably was too young, but this would definitely be my one. Because I've been thinking of like all kinds of great books, and I'm like, how it came out like 2 years ago. Like, I was not a child then. And then our next is Instagram, a book that had a beautiful cover. Okay, I could not think of a cover for this, so I should have put Shatter Me or the Shatter Me books. But I love the Assassin's Blade. It has, I always want to like show people, I'm like, look at this beautiful, beautiful cover. I think the coloring is just so beautiful, and the way Selena has like this hood, and the way they made her seem like she's dark, but yet there's an element of good inside her. And, okay, people, anything is better than that first Throne of Glass cover. But I really do enjoy this cover, and I think that the way that they did this, it's going to win a lot of people over just by looking at it. I've even had my grandpa, whoa, they put so much money in that book cover. And I was like, if you had only seen the Throne of Glass cover when it first came out. So our next social media is YouTube. Books are okay. That was, they dropped, but I caught it. Okay. It's YouTube, a book that you wish would be made into a movie. Basically anything from the series. I just picked Consequences because it was the first one that I saw, but the Lux series is one of the best series that I've read in a long time, because I was kind of running out of, yeah, some of the new releases are good, but there's just nothing like Divergent, Hunger Games, I'm trying to think of another series that someone else has read. I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that's obsessed with the series. It's my favorite, but Gallagher Girls, there's all those great and like epic series that I wanted a series. Like, I love standalones, I love to know the characters, but you need a good series. And I read like this entire series in like 2 days because I loved it. I mean, I paid attention to it, but I just stayed up so late and I read all of them, and I wish I hadn't. The characters in this book are so funny and stubborn and wild and just entertaining, and Damien will just put a smile on your face. And I think they are actually making it into a movie, but please don't make it like, I mean, it is romancy, but please don't make it like girl stands in the corner while man tries to kiss her. Like, you could easily misrepresent Damien because he is a super big jerk and alienate him from the audience, but I think that's, like, Damien, I always say, like, it's like a jawbreaker because you bite into it and it's hard, but you have to melt away the layers and see the real good man inside, because, I mean, we all know he loves Katie. I would love, the only way I would want this to be a movie, though, is if word for word, like, Jennifer L. Armentrout would be on there, and she'd be able to be like, no, this is what we're going to do. Like, if they stuck straight to the book, it was like 17 hours long and had every single detail, and it would just, it'd not be some cliche. Because when I first heard about this, I was like, girl who falls in love with alien boy. That sounds very stupid and cliche, but it's not. It's a great book series, but I'm wondering if it's going to be like If I Stay. If I Stay, the book was just out of this world, and then I saw the movie, and I realized some of what I love so much about If I Stay was Gail Forman's writing, which I really hope doesn't happen to the Lux series. Alright, and our final social media is Goodreads, and a book that you recommend anyone and everyone. This is my baby. This is my loaner copy because I have the nicest copy, but I literally will not even let myself touch it because this book, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, I have read this like 42 times, and it's moving. It will stick with you for the rest of your life. The metaphors, the ideas, just the sheer great writing of F. Scott Fitzgerald is just amazing. And if I could shove this down everybody's throats, they would read it. Like, I see kids all the time like, oh, have you read The Great Gatsby? And they're like, no, that's like a classic. That's not cool. And I'm like, you have not read The Great Gatsby. It is probably my favorite book of all time. It's adventurous, it's daring, it's romantic, it's so many words. And if you haven't read it, get on it now. I think me and Cash J. Tuck are like the only people who both enjoy this book. Everyone else is like, it's a classic, but it's not my favorite. I think I am going to tag Blondie's books. I don't know if you've done the social media tag, and I think Price is Wrong has done this. Blondie's books, if Read by Zoe hasn't done this. The Reader Flicker, I know I just did a tag, and I know you just did the tag video of what I tagged you in, but I finally got my camera, and I've tried to film this book haul like 7 times, so I wanted to kind of have fun with a little bit of a tag. So if you would want to do it, I'd be great with that, and I'd love to see it. There's also the little library. Who am I missing? There's someone who's I absolutely love, but they're just... Okay, I may just tag you on Google Plus or on Twitter or something later. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will have another video soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye!